hello. Not sure if anyone's here yet, but we'll see. Someone will show up. Right now, it's just Enzo and I. But there we go. Today's show is going to be a bit of just a chin wag, really. So if anybody in the comments section in the chat wants to tell me what's been going on with everything, I see Kristen from Virginia City. She's not here yet. Maybe she'll show up. Reported this morning another earthquake. Ooh. So another earthquake happening near Virginia City, which is a bit of a concern if anyone knows. Not Virginia City in where is it? Virginia.
Right.
Or not that one. Virginia City in Nevada. So there's been a few earthquakes around that area lately, which Enzo was pointing out to me just before is not really unusual. But the conspiracy theorists are out there saying, oh, Trump's going to release the files. Watch out. I don't know. Why do they always jump to that conclusion, Enzo?
It's what people do. It's to stir up chit-chat about things when there's nothing else going on.
Yep. So there you go. But
I've got the earthquake map if you were wanting to look at that. But
yeah, put it up. Because I'm interested in what that means. Because given that I am going to come for a holiday, I want to know Virginia City's still going to be there, not just some big massive hole.
What's going on with StreamYards? Give me all these. This is a tip for the thing that you just clicked, that you've clicked 100 times. All right, so this is the past 7 days. All earthquakes from sub 1 categories up to, I guess, 9, if you want to. But where our friends that we were originally talking about up in Virginia City is in this area. Carson City. There's
it's Walmart.
Yep, Walmart is. Been getting a lot of stuff east of there, up in this national park recreational area thing here, which everything ranging from like there's a 2.1 to 1.6. Yeah, there's a lot. And if you look at some of these numbers here, they're all fairly deep, at 19 kilometers deep. So lots of stuff moving 19, 20 kilometers below the surface of the earth going on for that area.
Yeah.
And on the opposite side of the state, here's Las Vegas. Let me double check where I'm at here. Make sure I get it right. Here's Rachel, Nevada. When you come down straight from Rachel, Nevada in this area, that's where Area 51 is. So you've got spots all around that area. The conspiracy theory is that a couple of days ago at a press conference, a reporter asked President Trump about when we're going to see these UFO files. He said they're working on them. They've collected a lot of data, a lot of videos and things that people haven't been released, and it'll be out soon. And within about an hour or so after that, this string of earthquakes hit around the area, which if you look at all the earthquakes, this is like the whole western United States. They're all over the place. So you can pick any one spot on this map and look, there's earthquakes all around it, which is what people are saying that, Area 51, they must be launching the mothership, which is causing earthquakes all in the general area. No, these are like hundreds of miles away from that location. But I guess, yeah, sure. If you pick a random spot anywhere on that map, everything else is all around it. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, well, we've been having earthquakes here too. So earthquakes always happen. Do you think it's possibly just because everybody's just sort of, the whole world really is a little bit on edge. So anything out of the ordinary, you're going to jump to it.
There is some correlation to like sunspot activity and things like that, which we're on the downhill side of active sunspot activity for this particular cycle, but it's still got plenty of life left in it, shooting off big giant flares and stuff like that, which there is a correlation to that where the last year or two, there's been quite a bit of earthquake activity over the whole planet like that, in mostly in those spots that you don't see. Like if you look up in Alaska, the whole Aleutian chain and going up to the center.
That's a big spot, isn't it?
That's all volcanoes going up through there. And of course, the west coast of the U.S., the San Andreas Fault that runs along, the coastline there. That's always going to be active. Even so much so around where I live. I live around Wichita, and there's a bunch of stuff in Oklahoma City, which is actually kind of directly involved with fracking for oil, where this is where they discovered maybe you need to do a little more research in your geology, because there were a couple of places where there were old, like million-year-old fault lines. They were like, and the geologists at the time were like, it'll be fine. You could go ahead and frack there. You could force water deep underground and smash all the rock and then suck up all the oil that's released in it. No, I mean, sure, you can do it. However, this is the side effect where you get smaller, and by smaller I mean like sub 5 on the Richter scale, which because there was one around in here that I certainly felt a few years ago, in the early hours of the morning. But earthquakes are popping up all over the place, in the spots where you would normally expect them, and in a couple of spots where some of the older fault lines is when you get the major ones going. It's like having a bunch of puzzle pieces or Jenga pieces, if you prefer. And when the big pieces move, that means the smaller pieces eventually have to shift a little bit too. And that's what we're seeing is some of those little known quake zones where they come into play, which is what we're seeing in Virginia City and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I suppose everybody has to have their turn, don't they? But I wonder what would happen. Like, I don't wonder what would happen. I would assume that any town that's been a mining town and has shafts underneath the city, I know when they shut them, generally they fill them in, the entrances. So, but they don't fill in. It's not like they backfill everything and put all.
Not the whole thing, no.
So therefore, if the earth moves, can't they technically collapse? Then if they collapse, doesn't that mean that everything that's built over them is going to go with it?
Well, for like the heyday of mining for Virginia City was late 1800s till early 1900s is probably when they stopped mining there.
About 1912 or something, I think.
Yeah, and still, it was still mostly at the scale of pickaxes and shovels. It wasn't so automated where there's gigantic, like 2-lane tunnels going deep into the earth there. So they're relatively shallow as far as that goes. They would still fall under, right? But I'm not talking like thousands of feet underground. Like more industrial type mines certainly would, because there's plenty of places. There's actually a bunch of salt caves up northwest of where I live, where it's all underground salt mines, and those go on for miles, and they're gigantic on the inside. So much so, and since it's all salt, there's like 0% humidity. It's actually negative humidity. If you spent a long period of time down there, you start getting dehydrated and drying out.
Well, that's
and that's it. It is because it doesn't hold any moisture because the rock itself is sucking it up. They use it for storage for very delicate things, like Hollywood has a whole section down there of old films and
the film
props, dresses, and things like that are stored down there because it's a perfect environment for that.
There's just I'm not too worried about it because we've had earthquakes for ages. I'm surprised though. We'll go on to a different subject in a minute, but I'm actually surprised that the San Andreas, what do you call it? San
San Andreas.
And California, I'm surprised that hasn't happened again, because the great big one, which was turn of the century, wasn't it? About 19 something. What year was that?
It's in the
or was it 18
or 20? Yeah. Remember,
I'm sure
there's videos of like W.C. Fields shooting a movie when the earthquake's going off, and like, everyone relax, and
yeah. but I'm amazed. Even after that, I guess back in those days, they didn't really know.
Sure.
It's an earthquake. Whoop whoop. They didn't know that what they were in. But then later on, I remember years later, and it must have been while I was alive, because I've seen the footage. San Francisco had another really big quake, because I remember seeing footage of the bridge and cars, and like it was 90s. Dreadful.
Yeah.
And yet people still live there. I'd be gone. Sorry, because I'm pretty sure California is going to drop into the ocean anytime, or become a separate island.
Yeah, the way that the San Andreas fault is a lateral slip, meaning that the pieces slide against each other. And the good thing, 3,200 feet. There you go.
Yeah, that's deep, Kristen. Don't want to fall in that.
But the good thing about, like, with the San Andreas faults is it has tiny slips all the time, like nearly every day. And it's when it doesn't move, basically it's because there's underground forces against these plates that are forcing one way, forcing the one the other way. And when they're constantly moving just a little bit every day, that's good, because that means it's not locked in place, and then that pressure's building and building and building to one giant slide, which that's when it creates the super massive earthquakes that destroy everything. So having little earthquakes every day is actually a good thing for that kind of area.
Well, then what do they do once they stop? Move. But mind you, at the moment, bless Californian people, because I know a fair few of them, they're all pretty good. but the way their government is, it's a pity the government can't just sort of slip into the depths of the ocean, isn't it? Because of
course, don't know. In the way that, like the San Andreas, like you were mentioning before, is since it is a sidewise slip, basically at some point in the future, Los Angeles will move north towards San Francisco area, and everything that's between those two areas will just be rubble and shattered. And it's possible it'll actually form its own little island. Well,
that's what I mean. It could. Let's just, but you don't want people.
It doesn't drop off into the ocean like a lot of people think. We're just everything. The new Atlantis.
No, but it could definitely all of a sudden become an island. So
that would have to be very catastrophic for something like that to happen, like within our lifetimes, kind of thing. And if that happens, we have whole other issues going on in this world than worried about that. That'll be the least of our worries if that happens.
It would be the least of our worries. I see the King visited America this week. I'd say he's home now. It's funny. I watched his speech in Congress, and I watched his speech at the White House dinner. His speech at the White House dinner was actually quite clever. I liked his little digs. Like, we did our own, what was he saying? We did our own little bit of renovating the White House back in the day when they tried to burn it down. But yeah, that was pretty good. And I love that he gifted the bell off of that old ship. Did you watch the speech? Yeah.
I did not watch. I saw some clips, but not the whole thing.
Oh, you saw the clip. But it was a pretty good speech. That speech, not quite as political as the one he did in Congress. I wish the King had a shut up when he gave his speech. It was a little bit backing up NATO and the importance of NATO. And I'm like, dude, go back and sack your friggin' prime minister, will you? He can do that. The King could go home and today, yes, that's his power. The King's power gives him the power to dismantle, demolish, what's the word? So that's it. Current government, you're out. We're having an election tomorrow. He can do that, but he won't, because, people aren't too happy with Charlie. over in England, Charlie's very much like he didn't give an Easter speech this year. He doesn't have to give an Easter speech, but he's the monarch of a Christian country for which, as king, he is the what's it, protector of the church or something like that. I can't remember his title now. I've gone blank. But he is God, for want of a better word. Like when Henry VIII went from being Catholic to Protestant, so he created the Church of England. He was God. Do you know what I mean? So right. The king is supposed to be the protector of the Christian nation, and he's not. He's going to bloody meetings with Islams and mosques and wearing the bits and bobs, and they're such good people. And I'm like, yeah, some of them are, but not the ones right. You've got running.
And to be fair, you can say the same thing with Christians. Most of them are pretty good. Then there's a few fringes that.
Well, yeah. But from what I know about different religions, Christians, from what I know a fair bit about different religions, and I don't think, apart from one, which is the Islam, only Islam call for killing people that don't believe, killing, like sure. Done. Only Islam does. If you're not a believer, if you won't convert to Islam, see ya. But all the other ones are mainly like, if you don't believe, you won't go to heaven. Oh, well, I don't know what Scientologists think. Probably, well, if you don't believe, you're not getting on the spaceship when they come down to get us. Not sure. I don't know. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But yeah, so Charlie's not too popular with the English people, and he better pull his finger out. But it's a shame because he's very good at giving speeches. Like it was pretty good, but his Congress speech was good, but a little bit, he should have, you're the king, don't get political. Like, you're the king, he's not allowed to be political. And he did get a little political. So I wasn't all that impressed. But I didn't see any no king protesters anywhere.
It's very strange, isn't it?
It's really weird.
It wasn't their paid weekend. So.
No. And then what else was there? So that was all right. And then, of course, you had that shooting in the Hilton, that's weird. Have you seen the footage? Oh, I'm sure you have. The footage of if you play close attention to the dog. Have you looked?
Dog
have
was
you seen
locked
it?
in. Yeah. Dog was
that
locked
dog
in.
was looking at something in that doorway. The dog knew it was there. Then the dude that was handling the dog, he looked, but then he walked away. But the dog still had eyes set on the door, and boom, the guy come through the door.
And that specific video, there's a lot that's very, very telling about that video. Is the whole team there really lost focus on security because it had reached a point where basically all the guests that were supposed to be there were already in, and they were trying to break down all the those outer parts of it, and they were distracted with that of trying to because you can literally see them pulling down magnetometers and stuff like that in the foreground of that thing, and that's what everybody was occupied with, was breaking down all this stuff and getting it out of there, because there was basically everyone that was in, and they weren't going to allow anybody else in because the show was about to start. So everybody was distracted with that. Then watch. That's why you can get super sprinter psychopaths that can leap into action and zip past a bunch of them. And what you don't see in that, because the one video that the president released that night, where you just see him cross from the left side of the screen to the other in a flash, just a blur, is when the second he got off screen on the other side, there was a wall of people standing there. It wasn't like he could have run straight into the ballroom.
No, that's where they got him. And people are saying, oh, why didn't they shoot him? And I'm thinking, well, you see clearly the footage of that one officer firing. God knows where those bullets went, because I think from count there was about maybe 3-4 bullets, because the guy shot one shot, and I think that officer shot off about 4. But you see the bang, bang, bang. I'm thinking, where'd those bullets go?
They're in the wall.
Like, well, you bloody hope no one was in the toilet or something on the other side of the wall.
And that's why there wasn't a hail of bullets from every armed agent in there, because that would just disintegrate the building. And unlike what you see in the movies, John Wick style, which this shooter, I think, kind of imagined he was going to do, the way he thought he was going to run in there and just gun fu everybody. It's actually really freaking hard to shoot somebody that's on the run, close quarters like that, and still be aware of what, because anytime you're shooting a weapon like that, you have to be aware of what's behind you, because you might miss, or your bullet might go through the person and hit whatever's behind them. And when you've got a lot of civilians and glass, at least outside, there's all kinds of things that can be hit by that bullet once you start discharging rounds.
Well, the other thing though is that they said, why didn't that copper, or Secret Service agent, police officer, whatever, how did they miss? Have you seen how fast that guy was running? How did you miss? You would have had to preempt and be like, by the time you get the shot off, he was. So it's all very good for us to sit here in our little chairs and go, oh, blah, 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 blah. Right. The only thing that gets me there, the whole total thing, is that dog. The dog saw something. That's what it's trained to do. And the dude handling the dog ignored it. He has to be spoken to. That's bad. Because if he hadn't have ignored it, chances are he'd be dead now, because that guy had the gun ready. So maybe it was someone looking after him. Maybe he had a guardian angel saying, fucking don't open the door, dude. The gun's pointed at you. Maybe the teacher liked animals and that's why he didn't shoot the dog. Stuffed if I know. But that really does have to be looked at, because he should have been he was alerted by the dog. The dog was showing signs of seeing something through that doorway, and sure enough, boom, and he ran so fast. That was fast. And then the guy he shot, the adrenaline must have been pumping in him. And then I think you don't see, I haven't seen it anyway, where he tries and then he collapses on the ground. So for a second there, but this is who's teaching our kids. That dickhead. But you laugh, but I mean, I've seen it in people that I know that have gone down the avenue of that dude. I mean, people are teaching our children in school all this bullshit, and he's one of them. So who else?
That's where he learned it. He was not that far out of college himself. So
yeah, and then they went through this big list. I've heard people say, "Oh, there's hate on both sides." Yeah, I hate, dislike. I don't know, but I have heard many Democrats. They did a montage the other day. I can't remember where I was watching it. It was another YouTuber I was watching. Did a montage of a whole heap of politicians and different news people saying about Trump and the Democrat and the Republicans, Nazis. We need to end them. Donald, be great if you pity they missed. We need to get rid of Trump. We need to end this. But calling to violence, even the Jimmy Kimmel thing, I don't mind him making a joke. And that joke he made before, that wasn't funny. I mean, I watched it. I get what you should still be able to make a joke, but it wasn't really a funny joke. Like, it was like, dude, fuck, people listen to you, you dickhead. Do you know what I mean? Like, people watch you and like you. What was that with him? They said the press conference, the officer that was shot was the officer shooting at the suspect. Oh, was that one? Yeah, because they collapsed after. And you can see, you can see him fire off a shot as he's running through. But, yeah, I just think so far everything, I've never heard a Republican. I've heard things like Donald Trump, oh, they've got to go, or Trump saying they're mental or crazy or whatever. But I've never heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, I've never heard anyone on the right side of things call for the death of someone, nor have I heard them celebrate the death of someone. The other side, 100%. I've got friends, people. I was in a store the other day, and there was a lady next to me. I can't remember. I chat to everybody. I said something. There was something that triggered Donald Trump's name. And she goes, oh, now this is just an Aussie. Oh, snapped her fingers. Yeah, bloody, he missed. And I turned around and said, well, I'm glad he did. I said, because I love Donald Trump. And she looked at me and she went, oh, my sister does too. And I said, yeah, well, I said, I don't think it's funny to say someone should be killed. And I walked away. But this is the problem. You've got dickheads like that go, oh, they missed. You know? And I'm like, what is wrong with people? And it's all on that side. And it's people I know. People I know with my comments like that.
That's the shocking part that a lot of people came to realize here the last several months after the Charlie Kirk assassination. How many regular people, and even like educated people that are doctors and lawyers, nurses, and all of that, professionals that are just wonky and crazy, that are, cheering on the public assassination of anybody. And it's like, what? Look at all of these people and think that it's perfectly fine to go on and film themselves dancing and celebrating and all this other stuff online. It's like, what is wrong with you psychopaths?
Well, they're psycho. There's something not right. I'm thinking, shit, was there something? Now, I had to have the jab, as I've said before, and I'm thinking, I don't know if this behavior it may well have been, this sort of behavior may well have been in place before the COVID shutdown and shit. I don't remember it being like this. I only remember it being like this since. Maybe it was like this before and I just never noticed, and it was because we were in lockdown and we were prone to, what am I going to do today? Oh, well, I'll get on the computer and see if anything interesting's happening, because you're trapped inside. But I'm beginning to think that maybe there was something put in the jab and only certain people were susceptible to it. Maybe you and I are the only intelligent people in the world, Enzo and Kristen. Look, I don't understand. And as I say, when the CEO of the health fund was murdered, that Luigi boy, the one that did it, girls are writing him letters. People are saying he's a hero.
Celebrated. Yeah.
What the fuck? What kind of, excuse my French, but what kind of hero shoots the father of someone and not even to do with your health fund, shoots the father of somebody walking in the back, or what a man in the back, shoots somebody dead, and then people get on and go, yay, yay. There's nothing yay about killing somebody.
Honestly, it boils down to the way that it's portrayed on social media and in like the regular like news media. When you get, because they'll your CNNs, your MSNBCs, your Fox News, all that stuff, they're not reporting the news anymore. They're just panel shows with crazy people on both sides, if they even bother to have both sides. Sometimes it'll be a full panel of just screaming idiots.
Well,
and the things that those people say, that gives the news channels like, oh, well, they said it. It wasn't me.
They said. Yeah, it's really hard. But, I mean, I haven't lost friends or anything like that. I just have chosen, due to my disappointment in their reactions to the killing of the CEO, to the attempted murder of Donald Trump, I just sort of think, I understand not liking someone. I do, because I don't like Obama, but I wouldn't wish him dead. And if he were to be killed tomorrow, I'd think that, oh, my God, his kids, like, he might not be a nice man. I don't like him. He's a creep. But I don't wish him death. And if he were to be killed, I'd be, oh, no. Like, that would be horrible. Same with Biden, poor old Biden. Like, I don't like him per se, but now he's just this little old man who shouldn't have been where he was for a few years. He should have been sitting out on the beach like he was. Well, let's face it, he wasn't actually running the country.
No, there ain't no way.
He was at the beach a lot.
That's why there's a picture of the auto pen in the White House right now.
but I just sort of, well, yeah, the auto pen, Trump's not wrong. Somebody, and again, why aren't people like that being prosecuted? However, I have to say it's taken a while. I saw the other day, but before hi Dee, but as I say, I still love my friends. I just choose not to enter into conversation with them at the moment because they've gone that way, so that when you do enter into a conversation with them, there is no conversation. It's yelling. And I think they don't know how to converse anymore. It's just, no, that was really good. Trump's bad. And I'm trying to understand what they mean by that. But I look at the facts and I think, yeah, he can be abrupt. He's got a mouth on him. He's older than me. He's in between. Like, he comes from an era where you say what you think. Right. He's from Queens. Wasn't he born in Queens? He's a New Yorker. Like, that says a lot. Anyway, he's a man that's grown up around these people, straight talkers, say what you think or F off. And I honestly have not seen anything about him that wishes death upon anybody. People go, oh, he was going to blow up a country. No, he wasn't. Oh, but he said it. Yeah, he said it was a warning. Like, what a shame. This is going to happen. Like, he would never, I don't believe he would ever do that. And
where then a lot of people get Trump wrong is there's two ways of looking at Donald Trump, where you take everything he says seriously, or you take everything he says literally. People on the right take him seriously, not literally. People on the left take him literally, not seriously.
Yeah, I just read. Sometimes I think, oh. But I still love him, right? And then I think, and I look at what he's doing now in Iran, and I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. I think about what he's doing in Iran, and I've been looking at it from the logistics point of view, what his final aim is. So I can see logistically what his final aim is, and it's a good one. So his final aim really is to get control of all of that oil, the same way he's got control of all of the oil in Venezuela, and thank God he did that. Now he's going after Cuba, I believe. I think they're going to do something there. Thank you, Dee. I can see what his final plan is, and if everybody just sat down for a second and thought about it, what a good thing. The rest of the countries might not like it too much, but
to drill down just a tiny bit on what you said there is controlling the oil. It's not for the U.S. It's none of that's for the U.S. It's preventing it from going to China. China is in really bad shape oil-wise because they've been getting it for cheap from Iran for the longest time and from Venezuela. And with both of those being cut off right now, they're in bad shape. And Russia has been getting their, the past several months has been losing a lot of their refineries and oil depots and stuff like that from the war with those guys over there. Those drone warfare is here to stay, and it is scary.
It's scary because you can't protect yourself from it. But I think if people just educated themselves. I just don't. I think people are lazy, honestly. If your only view of the world is from a TikTok or a Instagram or a quick snippet on the YouTube or whatever, or the normal news you put on TV, mainstream news, if you sit down for half an hour to watch here in our country, it's Channel 9, 10, 7, ABC News here. ABC is our it's paid for by the government, right? It's like the BBC, right? Okay. I watched the ABC News the other day at my son's house because he had it on. Ooh, wow.
Two different worlds, huh?
I'm like, what world are you living in? Not to my son, to the news. It was all left-wing propaganda, lies, not even factual. And I'm like, what the hell? My son's watching this and he's in the army. I'm like, why? And I said, why are you watching this news? And he goes, oh, it's the best news you can get. I'm like, no, mate. I said, I'm sitting here watching this and it's like, what? I'm like, whoa, like, what the hell? And so it needs to go. I don't know what the equivalent would be. Well, CNN, MSNBC, all those, but
right.
It's just mental. And I'm like, whoa. So if people aren't educating themselves, like I took it upon myself, I'm still learning. Like I'm still looking at things and going, oh, I might have been wrong on that. But I'm still looking. But I'm thinking, why would you, statistically and logistically, why would Trump want to control the oil in Iran? Like you've just said, doesn't take a genius, does it? Right. What a good idea. And then if he's got control of it and can get rid of that regime, the rest of the world sits pretty too, not China. China will have to be really, really kind and really, really nice. And I think as much as Russia is an issue as well, I think Trump needs to make some kind of bridge or I'm pretty sure Russia, Putin respects Trump. Putin's not an idiot. He's been there for a long time. He knows exactly what Trump's up to. So if Putin wants to be smart, he should go more along the lines of, I'm going to say something now that everyone will go, what? I'd really like to see Russia pull their head in a little bit and be more of an ally to America. If Russia was more of an ally to America against China,
honestly, it wouldn't take that much because that's actually been Trump's idea from his first administration. It's like, why are we fighting each other? Why do we hate each other? Why don't we work together and do a lot of, forget all, you got plenty of ports and plans and real estate and all these things. So does the United States. So does China. Why the big land grab all over the world, trying to get all these little strategic, industrialized places and things like that all across the world for yourself? We don't need it. We can actually build them up and actually work as partners with each other.
Well, that's what I mean.
Have all of our independence from each other and do our own little things, but
do our own little thing, be nice, and that's the thing. I think what's happened is the other side. And for those, I sent Enzo something this morning. I was watching something and my head exploded, not with surprise or shock, just like, whoa. So when you look at what apparently China has done along with George Soros and Soros, is that how you say his name, and some other people on the left, and when you look at how Trump was set up by the Democrats, and it's not theory, it's fact. Like the facts are there. It did happen. Why people aren't being prosecuted, maybe it's yet, is beyond me, but it did happen. So when you look at what steps were taken to stop Trump or try to stop Trump, and still they're trying to stop Trump, you can see, if you look at the way it is, you can see why they're trying to do it, because they don't want friendly business negotiations. They don't want that. You're taking away their money. You're taking away their wealth. You're taking away their control, and they don't want that. So the best thing for them is if President Trump is no longer here and they get in. And I think, God willing, their plans will eventually not ever happen. But until people start educating themselves and realizing where all this is coming from and how they've been tricked, people are starting to wake up, but I don't think they're waking up quick enough. I think they're still under the impression that everything they see on their normal TV news and everything is true. And it's just not. And
it's hard to find the true news. You really have to be very selective and do a lot of comparison shopping for whatever news outlet that is. I mean, I get 90% of my news from Twitter, to be honest, and following certain people. And there's certain people I follow that I totally disagree with, like their politics and stuff like that, but they're introducing factual information. And every once in a while, they'll throw out a comment, and
Yeah.
I just stick to the facts. I don't care about what your opinion is about whatever it is. So I still follow them, but it's important to kind of follow both sides, as they say, because it's way too nuanced, information out there to say I'm only listening to people on this side and versus this side. When you're picking sides, you're already on the fringes because there is no middle. It's this giant middle and then fringe lunatics on left and right. So if you've got somebody like I certainly warned you off of somebody that you were quoting here several months ago, and look how that's turned out.
Wow, what a nut job, Candace Owens. I am happy to name her. She is a bitch, is the only word I can use to describe her. A bitch and a see you next Tuesday. That's what she is. What a cow. Now, I think Erica Kirk, bless her cotton socks, and knowing what grief is like, and anybody suffering grief or has suffered grief, the loss of someone like that, you really aren't functioning on all. You're not. I'm sorry, you're not. She took on this responsibility way too fast. She should have taken a year, let it be in someone else's hands. She should have taken a year away from it to grieve and hold her babies, because you're not functioning. You're not reacting properly. And I know exactly what she did. She dove in head first because Charlie died, and this is just speaking. This is my opinion, speaking from experience. Charlie died, so she dove in head first to pick up the mantle and run with it. So, I've got to do everything. I've got to keep this running for him. And I understand, because that's grief, and it doesn't work that way. You don't want them to be dead, so therefore you live for them because you think, well, I've got to finish what they want. She should have just taken a year off. She should have given out a statement. I'm putting the company in the hands of so-and-so for the time being while I take time to process my loss and be with my babies.
And that would be a normal, expected response. And that's where a lot of people get hung up on her.
Yeah, but you see, her response is normal. What she has done is normal because her grief has affected her, and someone should have stepped in, someone who loves her very much, maybe her mum, someone, and said, honey, no, you're going to make mistakes. You're grieving. You're not going to think straight. No, I've got to do this for Charlie. So there's no going back. She's done what she's done. It's not the normal response to step back for a year after you've lost a husband. No, that response would be the smart thing to do, and the smartest thing to do for yourself and your kids. But when you're grieving, you're not smart. When you're grieving, you don't make sensible decisions. You just don't. If anybody can make a sensible decision on their own when they've lost someone that close and in such a manner, I don't know what kind of functioning human they are. Normally, it takes people who love you to step in and stop you. No, you're not doing this. You're in grief. Your brain, you're not working properly. Just even 6 months, honey, just 6 months. But she should have taken off a year. So, yes, and you're right, that's where everyone's confused, because we can sit here and like you've just said, oh, well, that's a normal response and what she's doing is not normal. No. People who haven't grieved think the normal response would be to take a year off. You haven't grieved. You haven't lost someone in a way like that. So you're functioning normally. So that's your normal brain functioning, saying, oh, I should take a year off. When you're grieving, you're not normal. When you're grieving, you're not functioning. So that's where someone should have stood in and helped her and they didn't. So she's done exactly what I expected she would do. And it's so sad, because if someone loved her dearly and could have stepped in and stopped her from that and taken over the reins, maybe they tried. And I can imagine she would have said, no, Charlie would have wanted this. No, I think Charlie would have not wanted any of what's happening to her because of that stupid cow, Candace Owen. And I've never in my life, and I have to admit, I'd been watching Candace on and off, not all the time, and I thought she's a pretty smart cookie. When she started to talk about Macron's wife being a man, I thought, sounds like a good story, but I don't know. The most I'd give Macron's wife is that she's a paedophile, because she started on the well, really, that's the most I give her. He was 14 and she was his teacher. Here in Australia, she'd be in jail. You know, but I think in France, I don't know if there's any French people around, but maybe in France, 14 is the age of consent, and he was a boy. And people do look at that differently. Not so much anymore, but it used to be like, yeah, he scored with the teacher. Nowadays, it can't be the other way around. But yeah, she's just a nut job, and she's relentless, and she doesn't stop. And other people, I've also noticed it's like an infection, because there's been other people that I have watched. There's a fellow who used to make me laugh. I can't think of his name now. I can't remember. He'd dress up and make fun of, women, men in women's sports and stuff. He was funny. Well, him and another fellow I used to pop into, they've all gone down the Candace route. All of them. Erica's weird.
That's where the money is. It's all clickbait nonsense. You'll notice her, a bunch of other Tucker's one of them. Megan Kelly now. They've all made this turn the last 3 or 4 weeks of being, talking more trash about Trump and basically going down the clickbait route, because we have our midterm elections coming up here in November, the end of the year, and typically, and this is expected, is whoever the sitting president is, their party usually loses the House and Senate, one or both, that kind of thing. That's perfectly normal. That happens 90+% of the time throughout history. That's expected. So, there'll be a little loss of power on the Trump side after the elections. And that's what they're doing, is they're making that pivot from being, yay, Trump is great, to, oh no, Trump is bad. And what did Iran really do? Actually, they did quite a bit, but you won't talk about that.
And it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just mental. And I watch it, and Tucker Carlson I liked, but with reserve. Like, I've watched him for a long time. So one minute he's saying one thing, next minute he's always chopped and changed. Yeah, but now I'm like, dude, what the hell? But money talks, and all these people, and it's very, very disappointing.
And right now the money is all in the anti-Israel thing.
Oh, Israel is responsible for everything, didn't you know? Oh,
holy
everything.
Crap.
God, fair income. Israel. Oh, Israel.
There's a 20% chance it's going to rain today. I blame Israel.
That's right. And didn't you know Israel organized the killing of JFK Jr.? Oh, they were involved in Robert Kennedy's assassination. Oh, geez, fair income. They're a tiny. If they were that, if Israel was that powerful, I'm sorry, Israel will be where America is. America would not be the all-powerful country in the world. Israel would be. We'd all be bowing down to Israel, and we're not.
It is real. The flip-flop in that meme the last several months has really been insane. But that's where the clicks is. That's where the money is right now for all these influencers that we were just talking about. Where they get their money is basically catering to their crowd. That's what the crowd wants to hear, so that's what they're going to talk about.
Well, that's the other thing too. What was that mob? The mob that the last couple of weeks now it's all been indicted, and it's come out that certain people are being paid. They were paying money to the Nazi Party and all that sort of thing.
Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I certainly hope some people go to jail for that one. But it's coming out that. But I don't know. It does take a long time to put things together. I mean, they've only just now they arrested him, didn't they, Comey, for the post he put up about calling for
8647 and shells written on the beach.
Oh, I was only talking.
Randomly found.
Yeah, look what I randomly found. And then and people are saying, oh, you know, he's being set up. That's nothing. That's just, it's not saying killing. I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Exactly what it is.
It's exactly what he meant. Let's get rid of him. And when you say get rid of him, how are you going to get rid of him, dude? He's the sitting president. So you put that up. That's exactly what he meant. So people go, oh, it's been so long. Yeah, it takes that long time. So it sometimes does take that long to work out the intricacies of getting someone arrested, and it sticks. I see they've, so maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe, I know I've been watching Dan Bongino lately since he's left the FBI and he's back on. I've been watching him on Rumble. Oh, it's just so much that the average person, and even my mind, would explode trying to take it all in and understand what's going on. I think the average person just doesn't get it. But I just saw something pop up on my feed from Jim Goodall, and I was going to share it to see what it is. So let's have a look, and to get off topic. Let me see where so Jim put this up, so I'll read this. This is a very important read. I've known Joel since 2019, and we've been friends ever since. He's a straight shooter, incredibly smart, not prone to exaggeration. He's 100% who he says he is. So he's posted this. Do you know who Joel Christopher Payne is, Enzo?
The name sounds familiar. I might remember partway through the story.
I'm writing this to you as a personal warning. Many will dismiss this, and that is totally understandable, but I'm going to explain to you from my knowledge of working with people in the know who are working on disclosure right now at the highest levels of our government why disclosure is so difficult, so that you have a better understanding of why it's taking so long despite what seems to be overwhelming evidence that we're not alone. Oh, well, he says we aren't alone. I gave proper English. I have spent decades studying the edges of human experience, and I tell you now that what is coming will be far more devastating than most can imagine. When the truth of extraterrestrial life is finally revealed, it will not be a moment of wonder and unity. It will be a deep, shattering blow to the very core of your reality. You will not simply learn that we are not alone. You will learn that everything you have used to understand the world is incomplete and in some ways fundamentally wrong. I'm not speaking only of what will happen to the general public. I'm speaking directly to the hearts of the scientists, philosophers and thinkers who have built their lives on rigid frameworks of certainty. When the evidence becomes undeniable, 9 out of 10 of these experts will face an existential. Say that word for me.
Existential.
Thank you. Crisis. They have spent decades constructing elaborate models of the universe, perfecting equations and theories that they believed explained everything. And then, in an instant, they will be forced to confront the truth that those models were built on an incomplete foundation. The shock will not be intellectual. It will be profound psychological breakdown, a kind of death of the self that they thought they were. Oh, this is sounding good. It will be humbling, to say the least. I elaborated on this recently, and I want you to understand what it will look like. When the technology and the beings themselves become impossible to ignore, scientists will face contradiction after contradiction that their training never prepared them for. This will not be a puzzle to solve. It will be an assault on the very idea of certainty. The academic world will be thrown into upheaval, and the ripple effects will reach into every corner of society. Many will not be able to hold on to their faith in science, in reason, or even their own minds. But the damage will not stop at the intellect. The emotional and psychological toll will be say that word?
Catastrophic.
Thank you. To realize that there are intelligences so far beyond us that they have been here all along, that our understanding of existence itself is childlike and blind. This will break people. The uncertainty and confusion will be overwhelming, and it will lead to the crisis of faith, not just in institutions, but the very nature of life and consciousness. You will question everything you thought you knew about who you are. I'm telling you this now because you are not ready. None of us are. I thought I knew quite a bit until recently, in the last 5 years of working on these things, where I've seen more than enough evidence to convince me. I don't sleep very well, and I kind of regret getting involved in this stuff because it has had an effect. But you can begin to prepare. The disclosure of extraterrestrial life will not be an event you watch on a screen. It will be a transformation that happens inside you. It will change how you see yourself, your history, and your place in the universe. Do not ignore this warning. The shock is coming, and it will be unlike anything humanity has ever faced. Steven Spielberg's Disclosure movie is coming out in June. Even though many will say it's fantasy, having worked directly for Steven Spielberg, I know his personal convictions, and I know what he has had access to that helped him create the film Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He had access to the evidence and was quickly found out, and his access was taken away quickly, but not before he was able to gather information he used to create that film. The trouble with movies is they've done more harm than good, because there are little bits of truth sprinkled throughout all of these science fiction films. Some things true, some things not. It's likely that these things have been sponsored by the people that have been working on the crafts, attempting to reverse engineer them as a means of stopping any of us from understanding the truth, because we will say all that this is science fiction and fantasy. I assure you it isn't. Everybody knows something big is coming. We all feel it, every single one of us, irregardless of whether or not you associate it with this topic or not. We see deception, and we see things that are beyond belief being revealed to us by our government. It took me a while to write this. I've been working on it for months, knowing that at some point I would want to share what I know with my friends and family. Call me insane, but in time, I think we're all going to go a little crazy with what's coming down the pipe at us. Quite frankly, I just don't know what's going to happen when it does. Ooh. Thanks, Jim.
Not wrong. A little light on facts on exactly what he meant by a lot of that for me. But the revelation that there are other species out there that no matter where they're from, even if they're from here, that are way more advanced than we are, it's like trying to explain, to Christopher Columbus how a cell phone works.
Yeah,
Christopher Columbus wasn't a dumb guy. He was okay.
Well, I'm not I don't know how a cell phone works. I use one.
Right.
I know it picks up signals, but I still don't know how it works. If the world were to fall apart tomorrow and I had one in front of me and I was the only human left, and I'm stuffed because I don't know how that thing works. I can't make another one.
Sure. And there's been kind of a popular theory amongst some other science leaders recently that a lot of physics research that's been going on the last 30, 40 years has taken us down the wrong path. String theory is kind of BS. It doesn't really lead to anywhere, but that's where everybody's been training everybody. Oh, this is it. This is the way to go. And it never leads to anywhere. Deep space, geography. of dark matter, because like we're pretty good at figuring out how to send satellites out and using like the gravitational slingshot effect around other planets to send probes even further out into the solar system. We've been doing that since, you know, the late 60s, early 70s. You know, the Voyager probes. That's how it went out to all those outer planets, is it would slingshot using the planet's gravity to go to the next planet, and so on all the way out. We're pretty good at doing the math for that at a solar system level. That same math doesn't work for stars themselves and how they orbit the galaxy and stuff like that. It's way off. So they ended up figuring out, okay, if you add a lot more mass to these systems, our process works. So there's some hidden mass that we're not able to view or see or account for exactly. And so, in lack of a better name, they refer to it as dark matter. Turns out dark matter is probably BS too, because there's we understand that there's something wrong with our math once we get large scale, but we don't really know what it is. And the path that we've gone to as far as dark matter goes doesn't seem to be leading to where we think it should go. And there's a lot of other examples of just kind of scientific dead ends where instead of everybody working on separate ideas like they used to, like in the 50s and stuff like that, where people had different ideas for how things worked, and whichever one had the evidence to prove their system worked, that was who won. Now it's more of no main science. Yeah. Big science is saying this is, string theory is where everything's at. So everybody follows that path and it doesn't lead to anywhere. And they spend, there's been people that have spent their entire lives researching that and doing it and are nowhere nearer to an answer than they were when they started, because it's probably BS.
Well, it's really tricky. I don't. That guy, I just looked into him too. The guy Payne, he works for Disney. He's an artist at Disney, and he's been there for ages. He's that's what he does in movies. So now I understand. So but I don't know what he's seen that we haven't seen. I wish he had elaborated, but he's obviously seen something. But yeah, I'm thinking
that's my issue with that entire statement thing is like throw a few facts out there.
Yeah. Well,
and to add on to that, Virginia City Sadie, thank you very much for being here. Is if you want to tie it back into these mysterious disappearances of scientists and things like that, all of those people were independent researchers. They worked for some bigger companies and stuff like that, but then they retired or they moved on from them, and they kind of were doing their own work, kind of in their garage, in their backyard, and things like that. They were doing their own things. If they're not following that, if they're not following that norm, that means they may discover what's really going on instead of this is the way it's supposed to be, and suddenly they show up missing. So.
Well, they either show up dead or disappeared. I'm just wondering, this is a really out there theory, but the young lass that was supposed to have committed suicide, she said she'd already discovered, what do you call it? Gravitational.
Anti-gravity.
She knew how it was, and she wanted people to know. So if she was approached by anybody, and someone said to her, you can't, but why don't you come here, or why don't you do that? I don't think that happened, because if that happened, she would have spoken about it to that friend of hers that knows her well and is trying to get it out. She'd only spoken to her friend 4 hours before her demise, and she was fine when she spoke to him. So in between the 4 hours before she died, and given what she knew, is it possible that some of these people are being approached and being told, look, yep, you're on the right track, and yes, disclosure is going to come, but we need you. We need you to keep your trap shut for now, or we need you to come with us we're going to go here. Don't worry, your family will know, but everyone else will think you've disappeared. Or maybe it's even like in when you, what's that protection thing you get when you're an informant and you get, maybe it's a, yeah, look, everyone is going to think you've disappeared or you're dead and you're never going to be found. But eventually...
The thing with that kind of a scenario is those people are smart enough to know that they're never going to come back. The general that went missing here a few months ago, that's I feel he's legitimately on the list of why he just up and vanished with under mysterious circumstances within hours of his wife being there. He left his wife. His wife is still, he can never contact his wife again, assuming he's still alive somewhere and he's been abducted abducted by the government, not aliens, to go work on some super secret project, or he was about to be found out to be blah, 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 whatever it is. He knows he can never contact any of his old friends, any of his family. He can't contact his wife. He'll never speak to those people ever again, no matter where he is.
Well, I have a different take.
Okay.
You're correct. I believe, yes, I agree with you. However, what if it's a matter of we've got President Trump saying, look into this, I want disclosure. It's still not really in his power. If there's people bigger than him, it's still going to get hidden, right? But let's just say for a moment, everyone, the buzz in the thing, whatever this is like, look, shit, we're really under the pump here. This is going to come out, but how the hell do we control this? How do we stop the world basically imploding because people aren't going to understand this? Well, shit, we're going to need some help. Now, that doesn't mean that the people doing this are good people. It just means that they know that it's going to come out and they've got to control it. And they've got to be able to put this all in a little, container and explain it. But I don't think that if reading what that fellow had to say, it's like it's going to be complete chaos. So maybe they're going after all these people that have worked on this stuff. They want to bring them in and they want to have all these heads together to say, right, well, then how are we either A, going to cover this up and make it look whatever, or B, disclosure is coming. It's going to come out. People are going to lose their minds. What can we do? Can you help us tie up the loose ends on this? Can we do this? We've just got to completely concentrate on this right now. So far as the rest of the world is concerned, you're dead. You're gone. You've disappeared. Can't be found. Right. Whatever. And some people have agreed to it and understood the end game and gone, yeah, okay, I'm coming. Some people, like that young girl and others, have gone, yeah, no, I'm just going to come out and say it. And they've gone, but you can't come out and say it because this is what's going to happen. Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to die because if you do that, the world's going to be chaos. We've got a plan. You're not sticking to it. See you later. Doesn't mean it's right, but that's what they've done. So maybe that's what's happening. The best case scenario, that's what's happening. They're taking these people in. They've got them there for a reason. And eventually when disclosure comes and this explodes, they can go back. Their families will know. And maybe because there's a lot of families that don't want to talk about this now. If that was my daughter that had supposedly committed suicide or my husband or son that had burnt in a Tesla, I'd be talking about it. I'd be out there saying, what the hell? But maybe they've been told, don't talk about it. You don't need to know. Everything's okay. That's it. You talk about it, you might meet an unhappy demise because they're not talking. None of them are talking. No family member of any of these people, including the wife of the general, other than the 911 call she made and that thing that she revoked where she said, she doesn't seem too worried. So I'm just saying, maybe that's what's going on.
I think at its core, and this is just my personal belief, I have zero evidence for it, just Enzo's opinion on the grand scheme of all of this stuff is, I think we as humans have figured out, like 0 point energy, or at least some similar thing where unlimited power. unlimited energy and stuff like that. However, whatever that is could be weaponized to the point of making nuclear weapons look like toys, where you're talking about 20-mile wide holes in the planet, kind of thing. If you detonated it, if you wired it up wrong, and there are certain groups in this world, because we've certainly talked about that at the beginning of part of the show, that there are some people that are just cuckoo crazy and will believe anything that's told to them, and are more than willing to look for some weapon of mass destruction that they would deploy. If they got their hands on it, they would surely do it. And for those kind of power levels, which is what you need to power things like anti-gravitic stuff and faster than light travel and all of these other things, I think we've probably figured a lot of that out already, but we can't ever let that secret out, even to the point of each other scientists, to where we're going to specifically get people, younger scientists in school, to go down a completely wrong path to steer them away from that, because we as a society of humans are just not ready for it. We can't have that level of power available to everybody.
Well, when you look at even some of the things we've discussed today, I agree with you. Human beings are not a smart species. There's levels. Like there's definitely levels, because you've got the ones that are really dumb. Sorry to anyone watching that might take this as an insult, but you've got the ones that are really dumb, who live in their own little capsule, who get offended at being called the wrong names, or and are happy to celebrate the death of good people. You're a monkey. Worse. Like, that's what I think. You're a little chimp. Get your stick and bop someone over the head because you don't like them. Blow a whistle in their ear because there's whatever. Fuck you. You're stupid. And then you've got different levels. And ultimately, though, even at the top level, all humans are destructive. The worst possible thing that could have ever been put on this planet. Humans destroy everything they touch. There's nothing good about us as a species. Nothing. So if an alien population is around somewhere, I don't even see how we continue, because everything we touch is shit. Everything. We knock down beautiful bushland to build houses. We don't care what happens to the animals that get put out of there. We don't care about animals. Animals are below us. We love our dogs, but we kick our dogs. We love birds, but we'll poison them because they're eating our crops. Humans are shit. And at the end of the day, there's no way on this planet that any of us should know how to have those weapons, because they will be used. They'll use them. And any good human that can see what we're like, I don't know. I'm just over it. Everything I see is shitty humans calling people names, getting offended if they're called the wrong name. If you say something, you're this. If you do something, you're that. Like, humans are shit. We're not a good invention. So, God, what were you thinking? What? And how did this happen, that us as a species got to the point where we are, that we're kind of like, there's things that can kill us in nature, like a bear or a crocodile or each other. But now somehow these little monkeys got their hands on this technology that we should never have got our hands on. And so I blame the aliens for that. So they need.
I don't blame the aliens. It is one of those things where it is. If these things were to be presented out to the public, to the rest of Earth, of unlimited power, faster than light, drives, all of these things, the first thing certain groups across the whole planet would be, how can I use this to destroy the person I don't like?
But that's what I mean. Like it
How
wouldn't be,
can I
oh, this is
weaponize it?
brilliant.
And that's why it's so well hidden, or trying to be so well hidden, is there's zero reason why every single person on earth couldn't have a refrigerator sized box in their basement that powers their entire house.
Mm-hmm.
It's not connected to any wires. It's
It
not,
just runs
none of
on
that
whatever.
stuff. Where you could probably go to, I used to dream for the day that somebody somewhere would post on the internet, okay, here it is, everybody. Here's how to make your own little self-contained power plant for your basement. It requires about $1,000 worth of equipment from your local Home Depot or whatever, Lowe's, your workshop type stores of plumbing and ingredients,
Bunnings
stuff like
here
that. You
in
can slap
Australia with
together,
our sausage
and
sizzle.
you can have basically free electricity for like 50 years is how good the charge is. Just throwing it out there on the low end. Somebody somewhere is going to figure out, okay, I built my little refrigerator sized box and I've got super electricity. If I set it to overload, if I make these adjustments to it, it will leave a 20-mile wide crater in the earth. And I'm going to go drive it to the middle of this place full of people I don't like, and just let it go off. That's why we don't have that stuff, because we're just not responsible enough to do it as a society.
It's really scary, and I think about this a lot, because I do have moments where I'm sitting outside staring up at the sky and looking at the animals and thinking, where, how, why, what, like, where the hell did we come from? And like, I just sort of think it's just so sad. Maybe I said all that before just because I'm so sad that there's people out there I see that should be enjoying nature and sitting with family and just and we're only alive for such a short time on the grand scheme of things. And instead, people are hate.
Yeah, there are just as many people out there that, regardless of all the beautiful things you just said, think nothing more of their every thought, every moment of every day is how to delete you. And anyone that looks like you or that talks like you or has the same eye color as you or blah, 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 a million different reasons. There's almost 8 billion people on the earth. And there's 8 billion ways that are different than we're individuals. And we can get curved into, but we prefer to be part of a group, part of a herd. And
we do.
People throw out these ideas, and that's now in this intellectual age of the internet. Everyone on the planet has a cell phone, that they want to be part of the group. Even though
it's kind of funny. They probably are living here, Dee, and they could be reptilian or Nordic. Who knows? I just wish whoever they are or whatever they are, hurry up. Like, hurry up and explain yourself, because what the hell were you thinking with us? Like, is there some way to rewire us? Like, is there something? Because I already feel like a lot of people have been rewired. Because some people I've spoken to and known for years, like I was touching on before, known them for years. Beautiful human beings, kind and everything. In the last few years, talking about how it's good to see someone killed, talking about just wishing people death. And I'm like, what happened? Like, what happened? Is there something in the air? I know there's machines. They talk about machines that can fiddle around with how you think. Is that what's happening? Is there something in our water? Is there something I'm not consuming?
That machine is social media, and it's whoever is has the best headlines and the most people listen to, and other people are like, hey, listen to this person. They know what they're talking about.
Brainwashing, isn't
it? It literally is brainwashing.
It's brainwashing. I think the best thing, honestly, for the world would be to turn off your TVs for a whole week, just a whole week. Turn off your television.
Turn off your internet.
Turn off the internet, just disconnected. Watch an old movie, watch some old TV shows, Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, whatever. Just go visit family and not talk about shit. Just back like it was when I was a kid. Just forget about it. Let the politics run in the background. Let them do what they've got to do. Just turn the internet off. Walk outside and have a look around. Put your toes in the grass. Feed a kookaburra. Or feed a blue jay. Like, just breathe in the fresh air and for a second realize you're only here for a short amount of time on this planet. And what's it going to be worth if all you do is think hateful thoughts towards other people all day long? Like, I can't say that I'm not guilty of that. Of course I'm guilty of that. And then I stop myself because I think, I can't do this. I can't consume thinking hateful thoughts towards somebody because it gets me nowhere. So if someone does something to upset me and I get really cranky, I walk away because I think, I haven't got time for this. Like, there's birds to feed. Like, there's stuff. But it's kind of like, it's just shitful. This world I'm living in right now I'm so sad for my kids, that my kids will never have what you had, Enzo, or you, Dee, or you, Kristen, like never have what we had when we were little, just no freaking internet. We read books. We went to school and learned our ABCs. We learned that man had walked on the moon. We left that in the hands of people who, whatever. We went to our grandparents' house on the weekend for a Sunday lunch. We met our cousins. We knew our family. We had our friends. The streets, the neighbours in the street all talked to each other, except for the kooky one that might have lived on the corner. It's gone. My kids will never know that because now they've got this, the internet, where dickheads get on and talk about, they called me the wrong word. They called me a them and a they when I'm really a he and a she or whatever the fuck. And then there's hateful, nasty shit. And I'm like,
we've gotten to the point where life is so good that you need to invent problems to be mad about for a lot of people.
Yeah. It's a shitty world. And some days I wake up and I think I cannot turn on my computer. I'll watch an old show. Like I've been watching, I haven't got it here. I've been rewatching some Bewitched because I've got it on DVD, and I've been watching a little bit of some old shows to remind me of a time that was so much more pleasant. Sure, there was shit going on in the background that we as humans didn't know about. There's always rich people screwing around with us behind the back. Of course. Right, but now because of the internet, people are being. It's just the internet is the worst invention ever. And we've got no choice now.
I would say it's the most misused. It's one of those CB radio. Man, the CB radio was great back in the day.
Yeah. I still remember my dad had Enzo, it was a radio that picked up stations from all over the world. It wasn't just your regular transistor radio. It was a
shortwave radio. Yeah.
Shortwave. Thank you. And that was a thing. Oh, listen, I can hear so-and-so in America talking about such and such. Or there was, if you were watching normal TV in the 70s, we had satellite connections to Los Angeles to talk to, a movie star. And it was like,
live via satellite. We're talking
live via satellite.
That was a big thing. Hey.
That was huge. I would have liked it if it had a stop there. I really would have. And young people nowadays wouldn't understand what I mean because they've not lived through.
I feel like the problem with like social media is if you think about pre-internet days when you're like in high school is usually the best way to go about it is there was always like the weird kid in class that nobody talked to because they would say stupid stuff and had dumb ideas, and you just kind of ignored them.
Mm.
The internet gives that person a voice,
Yeah.
and
And then there's
somebody out there somewhere is going to agree with it, because out of 8 billion people on the planet, you're going to have people that are going to understand that. And if they're a little charismatic and they can build proper, clickbait headlines to get people to check out their stuff, they'll get people that will follow them and believe them, regardless of how ridiculous some of the things that they say, or how, antisocial, or just plain out wrong their information is. There's going to be people that listen to them, and then they focus in, much like a cult. Don't listen to that other guy. I'm telling you the truth. That's what cults do. Anytime they tell you not to listen to other people, yeah, that's a giant red flag. And then you have people that they get a following, and now they're going to work harder to keep that following and grow their following, because
regurgitate
it can be monetized. They can get money from the more people that follow them and click on their things and watch their commercials and buy their products that they start hawking and things like that. It becomes this industry of just BS. It's all based on a house of lies, a card house of lies. That it's crazy.
Oh, Kristen, you realise that those lemmings never ran off the edge of the cliff because they wanted to. That was
that is fake. Yeah,
that was fake. That was Disney, and they killed those lemmings. They had production staff chase them off the cliff.
They stampeded them into an area where they had no choice but to jump off.
Assholes. Bloody hell. See? My point. What is wrong? I was outside on a lighter note.
It's like 50 years later now you're finding out the truth.
I knew that truth. They talked about that
today. Right now, there's someone in the audience who's like, "Wait a minute, that's fake. I didn't know that."
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I knew that. I can't remember how I found that out, but a long time ago I found that out. A lot like a lot of the things I used to make back in the day, it would be a situation that a human had created to get that footage. Point in, like, humans are shit. I just, I was watching something the other day. On Charlie Kirk, and it was just a little clip, and he was just doing something funny, and I found myself, I don't know if I can't be hormonal because I've had everything that makes those is gone, but I found myself crying and thinking, not crying, just like a tear run down, because I thought, honestly, he was such a lovely person, and it seems leading up until when he was killed, and after, it's gotten worse since he's been killed, but leading up to was crazy, like it is now, this hate. And I was watching that, and I thought, how sad that someone who really, he ruffled feathers, but he didn't do anything bad to anybody.
If anything, he was anti-programming a lot of kids at school that would come up that have believed all the nonsense that we've just been talking about that's been spread on the internet. And they're like, okay, why do you think that? Because it is. That's not really an excuse. Explain it to me like I'm 5. What is it? He had this way of communicating with people where if they're being jerks, he would be a jerk right back and make them look 10 times worse. To the crowds of people that would be around him, and they're all laughing at him and stuff like that.
Yeah, but he would.
That kind of goes back to the high school thing I was talking about when we were kids. You had social circles, and then there were always like the outcasts on the outside that were just had nonsensical ideas and convinced that they were right, and were always proven wrong every time. But they stuck.
They were generally artists.
Yeah.
I'm just talking from experience. My family, my dad's an artist. And I've got different other members in my family. There's a lot of artistic type people can be a bit cray. Just saying. They either love nature and settle back in the mountains by themselves, or they go a little croquet. I'm just saying, if you've got an artistic... Now, I'm artistic, so maybe I'm a bit cray-cray too. Sometimes I think I am, but I just, I at least can turn this off to a point. I can turn this off, go outside now and lose myself for a day in my garden. And I'm happy to catch up with my friends and talk shit about, not so much this stuff. Unfortunately, poor old Enzo puts up with me talking about this stuff. When I have to...
My patience is unbounded.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But I just, like, my brain jumps from one thing to the other sometimes, and I think... But ultimately, I know that God... Could God be aliens? Probably. I don't know anymore. I just know that something is, or maybe there's nothing. Maybe that's the point that's going to blow everybody's brains. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe we were just a mistake.
Yeah, you're a random set of circumstances
random,
to come to you. So for me, I want to know the truth.
I just want to know. Yeah, if I know the truth. I don't particularly care to know about the weapons. That I don't care. I would like to know if there's something that can get me from here to there in a few seconds, like on Star Trek. That would be great. That would be good. I'd like to know if we can do that. Time travel? No, I don't. I would. One side of me thinks, "Oh, that'd be good."
Yeah, you don't want to mess with time travel.
But I don't think I want to mess with that. I certainly never want to. I certainly never want to find a bloody wormhole and fall through it. That scares me. I've seen Star Trek to see those wormholes open up, and
depends on where they go.
It depends where they go. I don't know. The world is just so confusing, and it's almost surreal. Like, I've traveled the world a little bit now, and I was thinking about it the other day. I was looking at photos, and it's almost surreal to the point where, you were there. I know I was there. I know I saw these things, but I can't explain it. It's kind of like the only place that's ever left an impact on me, Kristen, the only place that I can ever close my eyes and imagine still being there is Virginia City. I have no idea why. I can close my eyes and remember being in the Tower of London, but it's like a movie. But I close my eyes and imagine being in Virginia City, and I can just about walk into the roasting house and ask for a coffee. I can walk across the road and go into the Silver Stope and say g'day. Like, I can, it's the only place. And I don't know what that means.
There are people on the internet right now that think Australia doesn't exist because they've never seen it. They've never been there. They think it's all fake.
Oh, well, I know the rest of the world. Yeah, I know the rest of the world exists, but it's just interesting to me. I don't know. Taylor, who obviously is at work or something, I'd say Kristen. And Kristen lives in Virginia City, so Kristen probably understands what I'm saying. There's probably other parts of the world where other people go to and have the same experience. So other people from another country, like someone from America, Enzo, you might come here to Australia and I might take you to a little old town somewhere, and boom, something clicks and you don't know what it is, but you fall in love with that place. Or you might come here and you might go, oh, wow. And you fall in love. Like other people, it must happen to other people, but it's just weird. To me, as a person with a little bit of a brain, it's weird. Like, why am I drawn so much to one place in the world that I wasn't born in or anything, but I miss deeply and wish I could be there. Like, I just don't know what it is. Any ideas, Kristen? I'd love to know. Any ideas, Enzo? It's just weird.
Certain places emanate a certain vibe. I'm not saying, it's, because of the geology in the area and frequencies or anything like that. I'm just saying that there's certain places that have, like, there's some people that they are super at peace if they go to Walt Disney World, the happiest place on earth, where it's got all these amazing things going on all the time and all that, to where they go there all the time. Same thing with Las Vegas. It's a 24-hour-a-day scenario where no matter what time of day it is, you can go and have breakfast or dinner anywhere. There's a nightlife where it's constant. It's just always something going on that you can do. Every place has its own vibe to it. And if it's the nostalgia or whatever it is, that all factors in.
I'm just wondering. Well, see, because I did go to other places. When I was in America and England, I wasn't on my computer. I wasn't looking at things. I was out walking around, meeting people, talking to people. And even in other parts of America, same thing. I loved Kentucky. Kentucky was nice. At the Cracker Barrel. At Louisville.
Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, I love the Cracker Barrel. I wish we had a Cracker Barrel here. But it was, and what Kristen's saying there, I don't know about that, Dee. I don't know, but could be. It's just like, I can't explain it. Like I can, when I was in Virginia City, maybe it's the fact that I was not on my computer at all, except for when I was talking to you, or, like that live we did from the Washoe Club. I wasn't on my computer. So I was talking to people. I was socializing. I was meeting people. We were talking. We were laughing. We were being human and community together. I'm wondering if that's why. But then yet, I've done that here at home, and I don't even get that feeling in my own house. I like being home, right? I love being home. I love being here. I love certain things about my house, but there's something about Virginia City that if someone said to me tomorrow, here you go, Karen, you can come and live here. Here's somewhere for you to live. Your kids can come too. I'd be there tomorrow. But only thing is, I don't think I'd be allowed to immigrate there. I don't know. I'd have to write a letter to Mr. Trump and say the only thing I can offer is that I'll look after the wild horses in Virginia City. Australians for Trump.
Karen, we'd love to have you, but they're wild. They're supposed to be taking care of themselves. You're not supposed to be feeding them.
I'll live on top of the mountain, Mr. Trump, I promise, in a little hut. I'll open up one of the old mines and make sure that they've got cover for when it's really hot. I just don't know, though. I can't work it out. The fact that I can actually, it's sometimes hard to visualize things. Like if I wanted to close my eyes and remember a time when I was little, I can visualize when I was little, and I can still walk myself down hallways and rooms and stuff from memory. But when I think about Virginia City, I can do that. I could go outside now, have a cup of tea and just close my eyes and see my feet, and I can be walking down the hill, getting all puffed out, going to say hello to the mules, coming back up. I can put myself there. The only thing is I'm not there. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? I can be there. Like I can feel myself there with my eyes closed. I can feel myself there, and I can do those things. I can't do that with any other place. So I don't know if we're in a matrix and someone's controlling our lives through some computer-generated shit. Can you please generate me a couple of $1 million so I can go and buy one of the big old buildings in Virginia City, take my kids, take my dogs, and I think I'll be happy. Even if an earthquake hits, if that's what's meant to happen to me, that's what I'll do. But I'm not rich. I'm not winning millions of dollars, and I can't go and live in Virginia City, but I wish I could. End of whatever that was I was saying. Don't know where I was going with that. It's just weird to me. Oh, it's just weird. I don't know. Do you not feel like that for anywhere? Like where you live? Do you love where you live, Enzo?
I like where I live. I wouldn't
Where
say
would
I
you
love.
love to live? If someone said
Honestly,
to you, yeah, where would you love to live?
if I were to like, because we just had a big Powerball drawing here a few days ago in the U.S. I don't know if you saw it. There were two winners for the main Powerball, but there were like it was something like 8 to 12, like second place where it's like $1 million people that won off of the same drawing,
That'd
which
be all right, $1,000,000.
has never happened before. What's going on? Are like people secretly being paid off through the lottery? What's going on with that? It's weird. But anyways, if I had won the lottery and I could go anywhere, kind of a thing, I would want a place out in the middle of nowhere. No, if there's a neighbor within a mile, I'm going to be mad. I need more distance than that. Just a place out in the middle of nowhere, little place. It can even be underground. I don't care. I don't care about seeing like whatever the view is or any of those stuff. I mean, sure, that would be nice, but I just need a place to, like park my adventure van, which I would have like the super van, which I've been working on this week. I got the AC installed this week.
Yeah, you sent me the picture. It looks good.
But I would have this place out in the middle of nowhere that I could travel. Basically, it would be a nexus to travel out of to go and visit other places. But when it's time to like, all right, I can't afford any more travel or whatever, I would just have a place out in the middle of nowhere where there's no neighbors, there's no anything nearby to where I could just sit outside at night and stare at the stars with no light pollution and just do my astronomy thing that I enjoy doing and things like that.
Well, you should
that
you should save up some money and you should come to Australia. I should get Taylor to save up some money too. You could both come to Australia and I could take you for drives around. I looked up how much the Australian dollar is to the American dollar at the moment. I'll look it up again today. I might get a better surprise. Hang on. AUD to USD. Oh, it's gone down. Thank God. The other day when I checked, the Australian dollar, it's not that now. It's 72 cents now. So my dollar is worth 72 cents to you. But the other day it was $1.39. So $1.39 would buy one of your dollars. I'm like, holy sheesh. But I've just checked. It's gone back down. It must have been a bad day. I don't know. 2 winning Powerball tickets hit jackpot worth 143. Oh, dozens of others win 2 million and 1 million. See where all the lucky tickets were sold.
Powerball site shows there were 62 tickets that hit $1 million and 27 that won. It doesn't. It's never happened before because when you play the Powerball, you have a set of 6 numbers, and then there's whatever the Powerball.
Same here. Yeah, same here.
Well, there's like a second place thing. It doesn't have to. It's not all for one. You can get like if you get every number, but you don't get the Powerball, or you get 4 of the 5 numbers.
Oh, well, I see what you're talking about. So it wasn't the big top one; it was all the next ones down. Yeah, because usually it's like $20.
There were 2 people that did win the full jackpot. But in the same drawing, there were 62 other tickets that got the second place one, which is $1 million. That's never happened before. How does that even occur? Over a period of, this one drawing, like I think it was Thursday or something like that. Well, sure.
Yeah, Virginia City would be right up your alley, Enzo.
And it may be. I may love it when I come out there this July 4th to see you and spend America's birthday out there. Looking forward to it. And find out that I love it there. I might sell everything here and move there. Who knows?
Well, you can buy a block of land in Virginia City now, but it's only a block of land. But a block of land, I saw them the other day. I was looking, $60,000 for a block of land. To me, that sounds pretty darn good. Here, a block of land, like that's 60,000, so that'd be 110,000 or something Australian. So here, a block of land, just to buy a regular block of land to buy anywhere is around about the 300,000, 400,000 mark. So 60,000, I could sell my house here in Australia and buy a little block of land and get a, I don't know. What's the rules in America if you buy a block of land? Are you allowed to live on the block of land in a trailer for a time while you build a house, or are you not allowed? Because here there's different rules.
It depends on the state and county that it is in. A lot of places buy a whole ghost town.
You probably could. They're for sale in America. I've seen those too.
They're out there. Yeah, we have a few of those in Kansas as well. But the way that it works in the U.S. is it's very state dependent on a lot of that. So when you get out of the northeastern part of the U.S., it expands out a lot. But many places, if you're buying a piece of property to build a house on, it's perfectly legal for you to have like a trailer off on one side until you get your house built, and then you can move into the house. Or there's plenty of places in the U.S. where it's your land. You can do whatever you want. If you want to build a shack out of stuff you dug out of the dumpster and live out of that, you can do that.
Well, maybe I could. I don't know. I'm just checking something now, see if there's any Powerballs coming up. Maybe that's a secret. Then I could back and forth.
I feel super angry that I didn't play that Powerball. I feel I would have been one of those 62 tickets that would have gotten 1 million. I don't need the super jackpot. I just need a moderate amount of money, like $1 million.
Well, 1 million nowadays isn't too much like it used to be. Like, remember when we were kids, if someone had $1 million, they were a millionaire. Woo-hoo! It's now you got to be a billionaire to be anything. $1 million here doesn't even buy you a house anymore. Just saying. And even if you want to move out to the country, you might be able to get a house less than that. But
if I was like a super bazillionaire, I would have like a nice place like in the middle of the country, which I'm kind of already at. I wouldn't live where I'm at now. I'd find a different place. But then have something in the West and something in the East as kind of like little mini bases if I was going to have multiple properties around, so that I could travel from one and then, locate, go to different things around that area, and then like go out to the West side and do, all that kind of stuff. I probably still wouldn't do that, but that's just that's the dream idea of, I have all these properties that, sure, you pay big upfront for whatever that property is. You still got to pay taxes on that property and a bunch of other stuff afterwards. A lot of people forget about.
Well, that's true. I don't know. I've only got probably another 20 years on the planet, I guess, if my health holds out. At the moment, I'm not absolutely sure that'll be holding out. My health is crap. I'm going to have a whinge now, everybody who's stuck around, because you're my friends, because no one else will listen. I told Enzo, so there's an issue with my neck, and it's pinching on a bundle of nerves, and there's a name for it. I've just gone blank now what it's called, but it's a thing, and it feels like my arm, not my neck, my arm is continually on fire. And I can't explain it. I really can't explain it. It's not even a throbbing. And it's been doing it all morning. I took some painkillers to lessen the pain, but only like Tylenol pain-killing type thing. We call it Panadol here, but paracetamol. And the doctors are saying, so this week I'm going to see a physio who will hopefully give me some things I can do to try. But I've been doing anything I can think of to alleviate it. Like, I know what I need to do. It's not working. The doctors gave me some anti-inflammatory drugs to take, but I was only allowed to take them for a short amount of time. It did help, but not 100%, but it helped. They gave me some strong painkillers so I could sleep, but I haven't got those anymore because I don't want that. I just want this to go away. Plus, the strong painkillers make you a little bit loopy. Like, you go to sleep, but you wake up a bit foggy. Don't want that. So I thought, so they're saying that I may need an operation on my neck And I thought, oh, basically what they do is they go in and where the bundles of nerves come out from your spine, they scrape or remove the bits of, like they make the opening bigger. I'm like, whoa, that sounds really dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds really dangerous. So I'm working really, really hard on trying to naturally get rid of the pain in my arm. So I took the anti-inflams. Here's my whinge. Took the anti-inflams, but because I have hypertension, so high blood pressure, I take a medication to control the high blood pressure. Because I've got high blood pressure, you can't take an anti-inflammatory drug because the anti-inflammatory drug affects your kidney. And if you're on the, the blood pressure pills, they also affect your kidney. So ultimately what you're doing is killing your kidney. You could go into kidney failure. I'm like, oh. So they did a blood test after they gave me the anti-inflams and said, ooh, kidney function's really bad, stop. And I'm like, well, cool. So what do I do for the pain? You're just going to have to put up with the pain. And I'm like, well, that's friggin' fantastic. So I just have to put up with the pain, and I have to go back and get some more blood tests done in 3 weeks to check that my kidney function is improved. And I don't even want to know what that means if in a couple of weeks' time my kidney function has not improved. So that is the end of my whinge. Hi, Banshee. That's the end of my whinge. I'm getting old and I don't like it.
It does need the alternative, but man, that stinks though. And
it came out of, well, they tell me it didn't come out of nowhere because it bloody came out of nowhere. I woke up and I went, whoa. I've had a pain in my neck for a while, and I've just been getting massages and whatever.
I always assumed your pain in the neck was me.
Yeah, you are. But I'll be right, Banshee. Carol, I'm just whinging because no one else listens. I have a captive audience. Well, not really. You can kick off.
We all care and love you, my dear. And it's sad when you have to go through this kind of stuff. Man,
it's just annoying. So hopefully in a couple of weeks they'll tell me my kidneys are fine, and the physio will help, and this will all be gone. Otherwise, they're talking about an operation, and I don't really. I know if anything goes wrong, and I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing nowadays, but still, I don't even want to Google what could go wrong. If they nip a nerve or whatever, that means I could, boom, gone. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but there you go. So yeah,
will this affect your journeys in July?
It could, but I've also checked on that because I was worried. That I rang the airline, which is Qantas, and I said, because I read my ticket. When you buy your ticket, you can do different things. I wasn't sure they said, if anything like that happens, they said, that's okay. You've got the ticket that you can, not, what's the word they used? Not credit. I can change my booking. And the most I'll have to pay is like $100 each ticket. So I can actually go in and change the booking if I need to. I'm hoping I don't need to. I spoke to my daughter the other day. I said, if I need to, I said, I'm going to be pretty upset. And she goes, oh, she said, then if you need to, she said, go at Halloween. I went, Halloween? I said, that's October. But yeah, I'm hoping I don't. I'm hoping, but I'll know closer. I'm hoping this is all sorted out in the next 3 weeks. But right now, I really just want to chop my arm off. That's how bad the pain is. Right while I'm talking to you now, all I can feel down my left arm is this horrific pain, which I'm just getting used to. It is what it is. I'm whinging about it here because I can. But I'm still.
constant, like shooting,
constant.
radiating type pain, or
Not radiating. Don't worry, I'm not having a heart attack. That's what I was worried about at first when I woke up. That time I'm thinking, oh, but no, it's not my heart. It is a constant pain. I don't feel anything in my neck. It's not my neck, but it's coming from my neck. So the pain's not in my neck. It starts about, here, I'll point. It's starting about here at my shoulder,
right.
And it's just a constant. It's just there. So it's pins and needles in my fingers and my hand to the point where my hand can get numb and I can't even pick anything up. Then I went into panic mode. I'm like, oh, my God, it's ASL. Google. I'm like, oh, it's not. It's a pinched nerve, but that's what's wrong. So, and if I pick anything up with this hand, I can pick things up still, unless it goes numb, which it does go numb sometimes. But if I pick anything up or accidentally tap something with my finger, it's like someone's got a hammer and have just hit my hand with it. And it's like, oh, my Lord. Or if I try and hold something for too long, I can't. I drop it. I can't because it hurts. So the pins and needles. So if I hold my phone, if I'm holding, I haven't got it because it's outside. But if I've got my mobile phone, my cell phone, if I've got that in my hand and doing this for too long, I'm not going to do it now for too long because it's already starting to hurt. So, and then what happens is I've got to put the phone down just straight away, no matter where it is, because it hurts. Right hand, no worries. Left hand, crap. So I don't know. So I'll see.
Left-handed or right-handed?
I'm right-handed, thank God. But I'm also hoping I've got to see a specialist as well. They're hard to get. I'm hoping they might just be able to give me some cortisone because I'm told that can help. Yeah, nerves, Colleen. Me nerves. And then I said to the doctor, can you give me, we call it Lyrica here. That's its brand name. It's a drug that you can take that helps with that nerve ending stuff, sort of helps the pain, stops the sensitivity. Problem is it doesn't just stop the sensitivity in the area that you're worried about. It does it. It's not really good. Tuba Chat. I've been thinking about you for ages, Kevin. I want to come over and have another. I must come and say hello. He's all the way in Canada. At least you still should be. Canada. What's happening in Canada? Things are looking bad. Well, from an outsider's point of view. I saw the other day, I shared it with Kristen. And actually, Kevin can probably tell me, it was Kentucky Fried Chicken in Ontario, I believe. A Kentucky Fried Chicken that was now only selling halal chicken. Halal? Is that how you say it? Halal. Yes.
Halal. Yes.
Halal.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
So yeah. And they went in and said, "What are you doing? What the?" Yeah. No. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But
I have to be honest. I heard that same story, and I was like, yeah, that's BS. They're just trying to sell to a specific market.
They are, but it's not BS. They went into the store. I saw an interview with the person in the store.
Sure. They have priests in there blessing the meat and all that. Yeah, I don't believe it for a second.
I'll find it. Hang on, I'll find it. Hello. They went in. The guy went in the store. And he said, "Why are you doing this?" And she's going, "Because blah, 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 fuck off, get out." Like it was a full-on story. Kevin, back me up. Hang on. Hello, KFC, I'm sure it was Ontario. Ontario. How do you spell Ontario? R-E-I-O.
I don't know.
Let's see. Here you go. As of May 15th, most KFC locations in Ontario serve exclusively halal certified chicken supplied by Maple Lodge Farms. This includes chicken on the bone, tenders, popcorn chicken, and sandwiches. Pork products such as bacon have been removed from these locations, excluding some co-branded KFC Taco Bell outlets. It's true. Because you know how you can get the chicken burgers and they've got the bacon on and stuff? They're not selling the bacon. It's all. So don't. See. I'm telling you. It's true. And it says exclude.
I actually know a few Muslims that they're okay with bacon because bacon is delicious.
Yeah, oh, that's what I mean. Yeah, well, they're Muslim, but they're not practicing. So that's like a Catholic. Oh, what religion are you? Catholic? But I don't know much about it. I was just, my mum and dad were Catholic, or I was baptized Catholic. Yeah. So you put yourself under that heading. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Yeah, most people. But yeah, so that is interesting to me. That's really, really odd. Not so much the halal certified thing. If you want to buy chicken that's because we used to have when my first husband, my boy's dad, was in the Air Force. I think I've told you this before. We had Muslims from who did we do? Not Thailand. Maybe they were from Thailand. Indonesia. Anyway, they were from Indonesia. The Indonesian soldiers trained with us. Like that's where they did their training. That's how they were taught. So at any barbecue or function, their meat, they were given special permission to use the mess hall, etc., to prep their meat. So they were at that for halal. So that's how they killed their meat. So I know it's slit the throat and let them hang upside down and drain. Like, is it fair? Is it a nice way to die? I don't know.
Honestly, that's kind of how they treat a lot of animals. Forgetting religion altogether. That's
well, the way they kill chickens, though. Have you ever seen it?
I understand there's a specific ritual involved and stuff like that.
Oh no, halal. No. I'm not talking about halal. That's what I mean. I don't give a shit if that's how you want to kill your meat, because we're just as cruel with how we do this.
It's not that much different.
It's not that much. Well, the difference is it's quick. Here we put them on a conveyor belt. It goes through a thing and it literally cuts off their head.
I knew a guy that was his job out of high school, was working at the Purdue chicken plant in Louisiana, where it was his job to take the live chicken out of the crate, put it in this contraption. There was a clamp thing that went around its neck. And he's, of course, to do that, he said, this was back in the 70s. He said, you're taking a live chicken, you put it in this thing, you put this thing, it's still alive, it's kicking and screaming. He said immediately it would crap out all over the front of it. But it goes on this conveyor belt, which immediately like lops off its head, and then it does a bunch of other stuff. So he had the justification, like, yeah, you're going to die in a few seconds for crapping on it. He said it was so bad you couldn't keep a lit cigarette in your mouth because of all the crap that would fly out.
I didn't see the footage, but I heard about it where some of them duck their heads.
Oh, so they get like half their head cut off? Yeah.
No head cut off. They duck and they get through. So they go through the whole process alive. Oh, no, It happened here. So imagine that, because the next process from the head coming off is all the feathers. The machine gets the feathers off. Then the next one's the gutting. Then it puts you off eating meat. Like, if it's quick, boom, no worries. Off, bang, boom, dead. But that's the only thing about halal that upsets me too, as you know, it doesn't upset me. It's just that they're alive. They drain, so slit the throat, hang them upside down. But I think, honestly, maybe if you compared both the conveyor belt to the halal, possibly I would argue halal, although your blood drains pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
You're pretty dead pretty quickly.
Yeah, you slit the neck of any kind of animal like that, it's going to bleed out very quickly.
So which way would I say is more humane? Conveyor belt, where the animal's absolutely terrified and might miss its head, and then what more gruesome death could that be? Or grab it like we did I still remember my dad doing in roosters and stuff. Yeah, off with that.
I remember that as a kid as well.
My dad and I did you? I never did, but did you ever see him run around without their head? Oh,
Yes, many times.
God. And then I did the research on why that is so, and that's because they have brains that function. They're
Yeah, they have a
different
subbrain
functioning.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
But I'm like, so yeah, I guess if you wanted to look at it, the halal thing isn't so
That's
bad for killing the
that's
animals.
actually left over from the dinosaurs. Is that's a
Yeah,
bird dinosaur
with
thing?
their
Is
legs. Yeah,
they have this sub brain that handles other things in the main brain up in the skull.
yeah. And I when I lived in Wangaratta, Victoria, there was an abattoir. When I first moved to Wangaratta, it's a country town. I used to go there all the time when I was a little girl. My grandparents lived there. Um, I don't care about abattoirs. I don't know where the hell they are. Do you know what I mean? But I moved into a house. I was only renting, thank goodness. And I'm in the country. So I'd been there a week. And on a Tuesday night, I wake up and I can hear like cows. And in like something's wrong. Like you can tell. Like there's this mooing and there's something wrong. And I'm like, they sound like bloody hell. It's late. Like I'm waking up and I hear these cows. And that didn't stop. And I thought, must be maybe a fox or something getting, or dogs getting in and scaring the cows. Oh, well. So next morning I got up and I spoke to the next door neighbour. I said, oh, my God, where is the farm around here? And she said, what do you mean? I explained what I just said to you. And she laughed and she said, oh, that's the abattoir. And I said, abattoir? Oh, yeah, it's just a couple of streets up. And I'm like, in a residential area, you've got an abattoir? And she said, yeah. I went, and I said, then what did I hear? She said, Tuesday nights is when they come in and they separate the mothers, the cows, from the calf. So what you heard was the mothers upset because their calf had been taken from them. Well, that put me off meat. And every Tuesday night I had to listen to that. I couldn't do it anymore. I moved. So there you go. What's Dee saying? My nan had a chook farm. And sheep, sold dressed chooks, as in caught, chopped off heads, cleaned and sold. Oh no, it's funny. I love eating chicken, but sometimes I don't know if it probably doesn't happen today. Sometimes if I don't think about what I'm eating, I can eat it. But if I have a thought for a minute about the fact that I've got pet chickens in the backyard and then go to eat chicken, I can't eat it. Something in my head goes, oh, that was that once and you're eating it. So I don't know how I'd go. I honestly don't think I could ever kill something to eat it. I'd have to be...
You get hungry enough.
Yeah, I was going to say it'd have to be... Now I could catch a fish. I think I could fish. I could do that because it's not like I can pat a fish. But then again, I've had pet fish and I have fed trout, in those trout farms. I've been to a trout farm, but just fed them bread, like not caught a trout. And they're whoop, 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 with their big mouths. So I don't know. But then as human beings, although there are people who are vegetarians and survive, I guess, okay, on a vegetarian diet, it's not the best thing for a human being, a vegetarian diet, unless you know exactly what you're doing, because you can get pretty crook. You can actually, I knew one lady who, a girlfriend of mine, she was a copper. She was a policewoman, and she was a vegetarian, forever bruises on her, forever, and so pale. And it was because she wasn't getting, it was her diet, the bruising.
Protein, enough iron, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, but there you go. Oh, I love eggs. Why haven't you eaten eggs, but you can kill a chook? Oh, you didn't kill the chook. You caught the chooks to kill. Why haven't you eaten eggs? I eat eggs all the time. I have no problem with eating an egg because, after all, it's just, there's nothing. Yeah, you know what I mean. What's that? I haven't eaten lamb or sheep for 40 years. It stinks. So many pet lambs growing up. Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? Lamb does have a particular smell to it, and if it's not cooked properly, it's also that smell transfers to taste. It's weird.
Huh.
It's
Really?
weird. Yeah, but I do love a lamb chop. I can eat a lamb chop, but sometimes, and Dee might be able to explain this to me, sometimes you can eat a lamb chop, it's a lamb chop. No, and it sort of smells all right, but there's a strong smell, maybe like a gamey smell. But sometimes you can get a lamb chop and it's got this funny smell to it, and you cook it and it still tastes like the funny smell, and I can't work it out because it's not every time. But I did go to buy some lamb chops the other day, Dee. There were 8. What do you call the little tiny ones, Dee? What do you call the little tiny ones? It's like they're just it's got a name. It's like a rib, I think. They've got a name. I went to buy some, 8 in a packet, $24. Get stuffed. I'm like, yeah, oh, it's a mutton, Dee. Then that explains it. So when you get the chops that are just a lamb, that's why they don't stink. The mutton does. Yeah. Well, there you go. But yeah, it's just lamb here. I don't know what it's like in America at the moment with your meat, because you'd be a steak man, wouldn't you, Enzo? You'd like a steak.
Honestly, I eat an apocalyptic amount of chicken. I do eat a lot of chicken.
Well, I do too, because that's all I can afford. I would love a steak.
Cheap.
Yeah. The other day the girls wanted steak, and I said, okay, I'll go buy a steak. I thought I'll just get rump steak because that's the cheapest sort of. I mean, there's cheaper, but that's the cheapest that you can cook on the barbecue and it tastes all right. I couldn't afford that. It was one piece of, I can't explain. It was a piece about as big as a dinner plate. Right. Not quite, but as big as a dinner plate. It was one piece, and they wanted $30 for it. And that's I don't know what that is.
Beef is super expensive for some reason now. Post-COVID world, it's been very high. I don't know why. After all this time, it's still high. But Dee will probably remember this, and I'm sure it was probably the same in America. But when I was a kid, and my mum and dad would do food shopping, we always got told, and we ate a lot of lamb, not beef, lamb. We ate a lot of lamb. And that was because at the time, lamb and chicken were the cheapest cuts of meat you could get. So most working class families, that's what your meal consisted of: lamb chops, roast lamb, sausages, and chicken. Lamb is a luxury item now, and steak was always a bit more expensive, but you could still afford a steak. And in a country like America and Australia, where we have lots and lots of animals like cattle and whatever, it's beyond me as to why it's so expensive. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There has to be something. Obviously the government's done some kind of something they've done to stuff everything up, because I guarantee the farmers don't get paid any more than what they used to. Farmers don't get paid much at all. And then it goes through the process and you're paying it for it. The farmers should just wake up and go, righto, we're going to sell it directly from our farm. I'd go for an hour drive out bush to a farmer's butchery and buy half a cow. I would, because at the end of the day, it saves you a few $1,000s. Yabber on about all sorts of things, don't we, Dee? But there you go. What else, Enzo? Anything else to whinge about? Nope, I think we've covered it.
Yeah, I think we've covered it. I've whinged about Candace Owens. I've whinged about TikTokers. I've whinged about humans. I've whinged about all sorts. I can't think of anything else to whinge about today. I'm sure I'll think about it once I say goodbye. I'll go, I should have whinged about that. But I don't know. But I don't know. I think there's still some good things happening this week. I just haven't seen them. I'm sure there were some good things. But there you go. Well, Dee, thank you for being here. And Kristen, if you're still listening, my friend, it's getting a bit late. And Kevin was here for a second and he's gone. I must go back to Tuber Chat. Tuber Chat's really good. Kevin's really good. You just go on there for a little while, and it's his way. He talks about everybody's different channels and stuff. He's a good help when you're getting started. And given the fact that I'd been off for so long and stuff, it might help me get back into the swing of things as well. Because, but you know, the strange thing that's been happening on YouTube, I don't know if any of the other people that you're with, Enzo, have felt it. Certainly Lewis on Nerd Report has, even Popcorn Planet, which is huge. YouTube has stopped promoting like this. So they're not
YouTube is going through some weird AI growing pains where there's been a lot of big YouTubers that have been getting strikes for showing like news clips and things like that, where it's like, this is common stuff, you should not be showing this. But some of the news that we've had where, you know, like last week at this time, when, you know, the guy was doing the Naruto run to go in and try and shoot the president, there were pictures of people that had guns out. Oh, gun violence, you're showing gun violence on your show, and they would nuke their entire channels because they're showing news clips that on that from a news channel on YouTube.
Well, even happened to me in the week before last. I can't remember what the clip was because it wouldn't show me. It was a news clip I put up. I can't remember what it was. And remember, I was saying to you, I've got to pause. I did everything correct. And they put a strike against me. They said, doesn't affect your channel, but you're not monetized. And I'm like, well, monetization doesn't affect me because I don't get enough views. Doesn't matter. But the point is, yes, it was fair use. I stopped and started as I should have, and it was a news report. And Lewis, like I'm getting told by some people that they're not even being notified. Lewis isn't getting notifications, aren't going out for him either. You've got to find it. So you've got to be on your computer and go, how's that going? You know, or you might get a notification, but it's not in your face like boom. It's just kind of, when did that happen? It's happening with me. Channels that I normally watch and would get a notification. I don't get notified for Lewis much, but I've got clicked on all notifications. Like I'm clicked on all of the people I subscribe to and enjoy the content. I've put notify me for all. Like, because there's different levels. Even you and Jess and what? I've gone blank. Enzo, I've shared your thing out before. Wednesday.
Pam and the gang there, sure.
I've got notifications for all of them to be put on. I don't get notified. The only way I get notified is you, because you put it on Facebook.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So there's something weird going on. See? Nobody. So you've just got to, whereas before people used to get notified. So I don't know. It's almost to the point where I think, is it worth it? But the good thing is, like Dee and Krista, this is, despite the fact it's YouTube and people could be watching or whatever, it doesn't really matter because it's a good way to get together and talk anyway and have a chinwag. And I'm putting the offer out there too, you know, Dee and all the others, even you, Kristen, that like I could pop on. I think I can host up to 10 people. Maybe it's more. I can't remember because I pay for StreamYard. It's not the free one because if I don't pay for it, it doesn't. StreamYard sold at some point a couple of years ago, and when they sold, they changed it. And now, if you're not paying to use it, you can't do certain things with it. It's a very basic. It's a way to stream, but you can't do certain things with it. So you've got to pay to use it, but it's expensive. It's not cheap. So, you know, it is what it is. I'd be rich if I just cancelled everything and shut down my channel because it costs me money to do anything. Well, I wouldn't be rich, but you know what I mean. But I enjoy getting on and chatting away. It's therapy for me. By the time I get off, you know, I've had me bit. Yeah, that's right, Dee. It is. Even if I say things that are highly inappropriate, but nobody watches anyway that would care a shit, so I get caught. I can say all the words and no one's going to know. That's the other thing about YouTube that's really stupid, that you cannot use proper English, that you've got to say things
you
like,
have to do this weird baby talk thing to talk around topics.
yeah, whereas it's just really silly. I mean, that's the English language and the words are fairly descriptive. And you say you can't say I'm going to say it here and so I'll test it. I'm going to say it. You can't say the word gun. You can't say, suicide. You can't say paedophile, terrorist. You can't say any of them. You get a strike and they remove the video. But no one watches me, so no one will catch this. But for the bigger channels that I watch, they've got to say, instead of saying, they've got to say terrorists. Right? So I've got to change the word.
They self-deleted. That thing you have to do this baby talk nonsense that's really annoying.
Stupid. So, yeah. But anyway, so I wish... Oh, imagine if Elon Musk, but then YouTube's Google, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's owned by Google. I could be wrong.
Yes.
YouTube. YouTube's owned by Google, isn't it? So yes, Google itself. Google, Google is like a little Hitler. And Hitler, look up the meaning. But yeah, I don't know.
Unalived. Yeah, that's a bad one too.
Can you hear the puppy?
Yes, we can all hear the puppy.
Something must be going on. Well, everybody, thank you for being here. And I'll be here next week with still my arm. Hopefully some, really good. I'd get her out to say hello to you, but she's right next to me, but she's getting bigger, Dee. But she's had two mice yesterday, not alive mice, they're euthanized mice that I warm up for her in hot water. She ate 2 yesterday. She was super hungry. She's getting bigger. I'll get her out next week. She can dangle around my neck while I do a live. If she keeps still long enough. Yes, both doorbells are. I better go and check what it is actually. So, because I normally don't bark for nothing that long. Oh, I know what it is. My little Gabby's friend Brad is coming to collect a piece of furniture, so I need to go to make sure. That's what
I do as well. My neighbor asked, "Are you going to get that package that's in front of your house?" Which was delivered like an hour ago.
Yeah, you better go and get it before someone steals it. Well, anyway, thanks, guys. It's been nice chatting to everybody. For anyone who's just joining in, because I've just seen something pop up, just go back to the beginning. You'll see me rant about all sorts of things if you really want to. Otherwise, just come back next week. Same time, same that channel. So, and hit the notification bell. Not that it seems to be working. And I'll see you all next week. Bye, everybody. Love you.